We just got back to America after spending the past 2 months living in Seoul, Korea, and falling head over heels in love with this city. So we wanted to make this video as a resource for you guys so that you too could have the trip of a lifetime when you visit Seoul.
In this video, we will be going over our top tips for traveling in Seoul, the best things to do, the must-visit neighborhoods, the best cafes in Seoul, where to eat in Seoul, and the coolest bars in Seoul.
And before we get into it, we always like to put out a little disclaimer before these guides. These are going to be our opinions, which means it is subjective. So for anybody that is watching that feels that we missed anything, please, we highly encourage you to comment down below so other people watching can get your tips and suggestions. And let's get into it, starting with our top tips for traveling in Seoul. Tip number 1 is 안녕하세요 and 감사합니다 go a long way.
Yes.
Learn those phrases and as much basic conversational Korean as you possibly can. It's a very international city. English will be just fine, but we found that as our trip progressed and we had learned more and more Korean, it was easier and easier to navigate a lot of situations, and we even started to connect more deeply with the environment and the locals.
Definitely. Tip number 2 is huge. We learned this
The hard way.
the hard way, which is to stay above the Han River.
Yes. All of the stuff that you're most likely going to want to hit on your trip is going to be above the Han River. Gangnam was really fun and we loved it, but it was like an hour or more of traveling every day when we wanted to do pretty much anything.
Exactly. Next tip is to carry your passport with you just anywhere, because if you go shopping at any point, they're gonna ask for your passport to give you the tax refund, and it just makes everything easier because if you don't have your passport, they can still give you the tax refund, but then you have to do it in the airport, which we got a lot of those back.
Yes, because we forgot to carry our passport
Exactly.
sometimes, and so this is a tip for you, but also one for us to remember for next time. This next tip is very, very important, and it is to download the Naver app on your phone and get familiar with it before you travel to South Korea. This is because Google and Apple Maps do not work in South Korea. It's crazy, and it really was like a shock to us that we had to figure out the hard way, unfortunately.
We were completely blindsided by this the first week in Seoul. We were very confused on how to navigate the city and get directions places.
Naver will help you find like everything and tell you exactly how to get there and everything. So this is like essential. You need to have this app.
The next tip is do not be intimidated by the public transport in South Korea, because it really is amazing. It's so clean and easy to use.
And so efficient.
Super efficient. And another thing that we were we're not really bus people, but the buses in Korea are so comfortable, so clean.
And they have a specific bus lane on all the roads. So you don't have to worry about like traffic. Even in rush hour, buses will get you there on time. And while we're talking about public transport, you should make sure to get yourself a T-Money card, because this makes everything so convenient. You can refill the T-Money card and scan in and out of the metro or the bus. It's so easy, so convenient, and you can just get one in any of the convenience stores. We got ours at a CU. That actually leads me to the next and arguably most important tip that we can offer you for traveling to Seoul, or anywhere for that matter, which is to get yourself an eSIM so that you can stay connected to data and do all things internet related at all times.
One of the biggest challenges while traveling is staying connected to the internet. In the past, we used to have 2 options. It was buying a local SIM card at the airport, which was always a hassle, and it would take extra precious traveling time when all you want to do after the flight is go right to your hotel. The other option was spending insane amounts of money on the data roaming.
They do not go easy on you with this. If you have traveled before and done this, you know. When you get that bill at the end of the month, it is never friendly. That's all we'll say there. That's where Airalo comes in, which just saved our life. I'm going to be dramatic here and say, time, money-wise, it's been a lifesaver. With a mission to provide global data connectivity to all travelers, Airalo is the first and leading eSIM store on the market, being trusted by 10 million world travelers. They also have a massive network covering over 200 countries and regions so that you can connect to local networks wherever you travel as soon as you land.
So that means no more roaming fees, no more lines at the airport to purchase a local SIM card, and no more trying to connect to terrible Wi-Fi while using the metro, buses, or train rides.
Yes, so that is why we strongly suggest that you install the Airalo app today and stay connected anywhere you travel using our code JNR3 to get $3 off of your data plan.
Here's how it works. First, download the Airalo app, then choose an eSIM plan from the local, regional, or global eSIMs offered. For example, before flying to Seoul, we chose the South Korean eSIM. And once you do that, install the eSIM. You just have to be connected to Wi-Fi while you are doing so, and it should only take a few minutes.
And just like that, you are ready to go. Just activate your eSIM, and as soon as you land in the airport, you will already be connected to data. It is literally so easy and so affordable. It is a life-saving travel hack that we really wanted to share with you guys. So again, do not forget to install the Airalo app today and stay connected no matter where in the world you're traveling using our code JNR3 to get $3 off of your data plan. Now let's get into the next section of this guide, which is our top suggestions for the best things to do in Seoul.
The first thing we want to recommend to you guys is Cheongdeokgung. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
That's pretty good.
It is our favorite temple that we went to.
Yes.
Obviously people are going to recommend the bigger temple.
Gyeongbokgung. But just our personal favorite temple in the city was Cheongdeokgung.
Yes. To us it was just as beautiful as the bigger temple, but it also had a park attached to it, which had like a botanical gardens.
And it even leads to this incredible view of Namsan Tower off in the distance. The whole day that we spent there was so lovely. That's really the reason why we recommend it so much, is you can spend like all day just in Cheongdeokgung and the surrounding park. Next one we want to talk about is Starfield Library. This one is kind of controversial, it feels like. Some people think that it's not worth the hype. But we loved it. Yeah,
it was so beautiful. Plus the fact that you can get a coffee right there. They have the Arabica. Grabbing a coffee and just sitting there and seeing that beautiful sight, it's gorgeous.
Yes, it was so pretty and just worth visiting, we think. And it's free.
Yeah, which is such a perk.
Yes.
The next thing I definitely have to recommend is going to an Olive Young and having a little bit of a shopping spree, because you all know that Korea is the best with skincare. I mean, everything in Korean skincare is just the best.
Yeah,
so,
she even converted me on this trip. I am like, okay, Korean skincare only.
Yeah, I never thought I could convert him from his skincare, and now we both have our Korean skincare, and it's so perfect.
Next one is to take a Korean cooking class. This was one of our favorite memories from our trip in Seoul.
This was so fun because it is also what made us fall in love with tteokbokki, which is our favorite Korean snack.
We were exposed to tteokbokki and more traditional Korean food this way, and that kind of started our journey into like, oh my gosh, we need to try more and more Korean food. And this particular cooking class that I'm going to recommend for you guys down in the description was so fun, and Jennifer, who leads it, is such a lovely human being.
So fun. We had the best time.
Yes.
The next thing we want to recommend is to hike or take a cable car to Namsan Tower, which I preferred the hiking, even though I was complaining in the video that we made. I actually really liked it.
I'm surprised.
It was very fun.
Yes, it was very fun and a little more rewarding, I would say. For any of you couples or just best friends or anything like that, at the top there is a love lock situation that was so cute, and they sell the locks inside of the convenience store right there at the top of Namsan Tower. So you can buy one and it comes with a marker and you just write something on there and lock it in. It's just a cute little touch.
It's super cute. Also the view from up there is just ridiculous, so 10 out of 10.
This next one is one of my personal favorite things that we did on our Seoul trip, and that is to walk along the Cheonggyecheon. Cheonggyecheon. Oh gosh, it's so bad.
No, I think it's good.
I hope that pronunciation was okay, but that stream is so beautiful. It's like
pretty.
this long, I don't know how long it goes on for, but it felt like we walked for...
It was at least a mile.
Yes. And when we went there was a seasonal thing going on, which was like this outdoor library, and it was so sweet. I don't know exactly how long it goes on for, but I'll make sure to put the dates on the screen right now. But regardless, this whole day was so beautiful.
It was. And probably one of my favorite things was having a picnic in Hangang Park. This was so beautiful and so much fun. There was like a 7-Eleven where you can make ramen yourself in like this ramen making machine.
Like a futuristic ramen machine.
Yeah,
it was so
it was
fun.
So much fun, and we just set up a picnic and sat there and ate and talked for a while with the sunset. It was gorgeous.
And before that even, because there's way more to do in this park, we rented this really cute like family bike and rode all around the park. And it was actually so fun.
That was so fun.
She did not help me pedal whatsoever, but that's for another day.
Another thing I absolutely loved was doing karaoke in Hongdae. This was so much fun. I didn't think I would have as much fun as I did because I am more shy. But once I started singing, you couldn't stop me.
Yeah, she literally chose a 10-minute song from Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it was so good. We were going crazy.
Yeah, we were going crazy in there. They're so like serious about their karaoke in South Korea.
We were getting graded.
We were getting graded.
Yeah.
There's a spaceship like remote to just navigate. There's thousands upon thousands of songs.
Craziness.
There's a light show going on.
It was so fun.
And finally, I want to talk about my favorite thing that we did in all of our time in Seoul, which was going to listen to vinyls at Music Complex Seoul. Apparently vinyl bars are like a big thing in Seoul, so there's a lot of options, but all I can speak on is Music Complex Seoul.
It was so much fun. We picked out like 4 albums and we just sat there for hours. And
there's a full service bar which serves coffee, tea, drinks. There's also just some little snacks and stuff. You get your own personal vinyl record player and you can listen with a partner, and like you each get your own separate set of headphones.
It's so much fun.
Oh, we were getting emotional. We were showing each other our favorite songs from the past. One of the coolest things about Seoul is all of the different neighborhoods that have like different vibes or specialties about them, and we just loved exploring all of these different little neighborhoods. So we wanted to dedicate this portion of the guide to just telling you which neighborhoods in Seoul are must visits.
Starting with our absolute favorite, which is Seocheon. This neighborhood is honestly perfect. We stayed there for our 2nd month in Seoul and we fell in love with it.
It's got all of the aspects that you fall in love with all the different parts of Seoul, all wrapped into one. It's got the modern vibe to it in certain areas of it, but it also is full of the traditional buildings, the hanoks and stuff like that. We actually stayed in a hanok. Little local shops, local cafes, local restaurants. One of our absolute favorite neighborhoods ever that we've ever stayed in, and we even made a full video just on that neighborhood. The next neighborhood we want to recommend for you to visit is Seongsu. This is commonly referred to as the Brooklyn of Seoul, and we completely get it because it is one of the trendiest places we've ever stepped foot in. It's
so cool there.
Yes, there was so many amazing pop-up shops, clothes, cafes, food.
The people there are just dressed really cool, and it's a cool area to spend a day or two in.
Just wandering around. Plus, right around there is Seoul Forest Park.
Yes, that's another thing. You can spend a little bit of time there and then go over to Seoul Forest Park, and that's like the perfect day.
Oh, perfect day.
The next area we want to recommend is Hongdae, which is very popular. You have probably already heard of it. It's like the K-pop neighborhood. A lot of young people are there.
It's a party area. So
for sure.
heads up on that.
Definitely. That's where we did karaoke, actually. So there's a lot of shops, a lot of karaoke, a lot of food.
A lot of bars.
A lot of bars.
There's always like street performers, and it's usually very busy, especially at night. But it's one of those places where you just feel the energy when you're there. It's so fun. It's like the heartbeat of the city, I feel like. Definitely just a must visit. And this leads us to one of our absolute favorite neighborhoods in Seoul, which is Ikseon-dong.
Yes, this spot was so good for like shopping. I love how the buildings are just so cute, like Hanok vibe.
Yes, and the walkways are so narrow, and you can get the best salt bread in this area as well.
Yes,
so
the cafes are ridiculous. There's so many cafes within a half a mile radius.
All of the trendiest and coolest cafes in Seoul are like located walking distance from each other, all within Ikseon-dong. And this leads me perfectly into the next section of this guide, which is our picks for the best cafes in Seoul. If you know anything about us or have watched pretty much any vlog of ours, you know we drink a lot of coffee.
Yes, we love cafes.
Yes, we're always on the hunt for a new cafe, and in all of our 4 years of full-time travel, we have never encountered a city with a bigger cafe culture than Seoul.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We spent pretty much every day trying to explore and find a new cafe because there's so many. And within 2 months of living in Seoul doing that, we still did not cross all of them off of our list. But we have a pretty incredible list that we would have loved to have access to before our trip to Seoul, starting with Soha Salt Pond.
Yes, this one was incredible. The outside of it, first of all, is so cool.
Beautiful.
It's like they have these little salt ponds just right out front.
They actually make the salt that is
Exactly.
used in the salt bread right there.
And the salt bread, first off, is so delicious.
And they make so many beautiful pastries. We didn't really try any of the other ones. All we can speak on is the salt bread and the salted cream latte.
Yeah, the salted cream latte is probably, out of all of the items that we tried, my favorite thing. It was so delicious.
Next one we have to recommend is called Nuldam Space.
Yes, this one was so cool.
Such a cool concept in this one. First of all, it's a 100% vegan cafe. The drinks were great, but really what sets it apart is the concept, which is within Nuldam Space, they will give you a letter set, and it allows you to write a letter to yourself or to someone that you love, and melt wax and stuff right there in the cafe and stamp it, and then they will ship it to that person some point in the future, a date that you chose. It's so cute. There's a full wall full of letters from all these different people who are sending something to someone.
The next one we want to recommend is Cafe Layered. This one is extremely popular. There's a few locations. Honestly, when you go inside, it's just the cutest interior ever. It's like antique, beautiful, and also the layout, the spread of the pastries is ridiculous.
We have to recommend the Earl Grey cake.
Yeah, so good.
So good. Plus the scone.
The scone was really good, and also I had an Español.
Einspanner.
Einspanner?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Einspanner is what I meant. And it was so delicious.
Yes, it really was. Next one that we want to talk about is called Earthus. The concept for this one pretty much was all about sustainability. They do not offer any single-use plastics or anything like that in the store. Even if you want to take something to go, you have to bring your own tumbler or your own container, which we loved. And the inside is so cute and comforting.
And the coffee was really, really good.
I was gonna say, it was the best coffee in my opinion of that day of filming, which was a cafe hopping vlog. We did like 5 cafes. I distinctly remember that being the best cup of coffee I had of the day.
Super good.
This next one is for those of you looking for a good breakfast spot. It's called 413 Project, and oh my goodness, you guys, the breakfast food here was so good.
It was so good, and it's kind of hard to find a good breakfast in Korea, I feel like. This was one that we can definitely recommend.
And the pastries were so good.
Yeah.
The coffee was great, and we loved the interior.
The next one we want to recommend is Joe and Dawson, which,
oh my gosh, you
this
guys,
makes the best French toast that we have ever tried. It honestly, like, no joke.
No.
the best French toast we've ever had.
There was a line around the building.
Yeah, we had to wait in a line like 40 minutes early to make sure we got a spot.
To be able to get in there and get this French toast. And it is worth it,
it's
you
so
guys.
worth it.
Plus, since we are talking cafes, the coffee was good as well.
Yes.
Next one we want to talk about is Anthracite. And this is like a coffee purist's dream. It's not the place you want to go if you're looking for some sweet specialty drinks or anything like that. They are all about the coffee.
Yes.
Plus the actual just building from the location we went to is
huge,
stunning.
And it's a little escape from how busy the city is.
Yeah, it's literally a Zen garden.
Yeah,
that's what we were saying like while we were there.
Now time for our favorite cafe in Seoul, which is Walking Around. This place is an absolute gem. We went there every day.
Every single day. To the point where we became like such close friends with the owners.
Yeah.
You most likely saw them if you've watched any of our Seoul vlogs. We have featured them many times. They are the sweetest, most genuine and kind people on earth, and they make the best coffee ever. Now, let's get into the next section of this guide, which is our top picks for where to eat in Seoul. Starting with something that I probably had too much of throughout the course of our trip in Seoul, but it is Korean fried chicken. I would specifically highlight BBQ, which is like a chain, but it's incredible.
Yeah.
I think that you really can't go wrong with any of the fried chicken spots in Korea. It's their specialty. They hands down make the best fried chicken in the world. Next place we want to recommend to eat is called Hanmyeocheon. One of our very dear friends, Jay, showed this spot to us as a farewell meal actually, and it really was special for multiple reasons. It's a traditional Korean style hanjeongseok. Hopefully I'm pronouncing all these things correctly. But it's several, and I mean several, small plates served all at once. It's like this beautiful spread.
Yeah.
So delicious. All of the little
good.
plates were
you
so good.
You feel like kings and queens when you're eating this, because it's just like such a big spread of food, and all of it was so delicious.
It was actually the house of one of Korea's most famous professional dancers, and it's just really cool because they have some of the history there.
Yeah.
You can flip through a book that shows pictures from her world tour and stuff, and you do feel the history of the place that you're eating in. It was a really beautiful and cool experience. Plus, you should try this type of style of Korean meal while you're in Seoul.
The next place we want to recommend for you to eat at is Gwangjang Market, which is very popular. And
it's
also,
a massive market.
It's huge.
Yes.
It's so big. There's so much amazing food, but we especially want to recommend the dumpling soup, which was famous on a Netflix show actually.
Yes.
And it was so good.
So good. The next one we want to talk about is actually another market, but this one was our personal favorite, Mangwon Market. Gwangjang is more touristy, but still good, but Mangwon is where you go when you really want to get a taste of the local cuisine. It's definitely the place where more of the local Koreans would go to eat.
Yes.
We had some killer jjajangmyeon.
Oh yeah, I had been wanting to try that since we got to Korea. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was so good.
They also have a bunch of seafood and stuff, local produce, and
also,
shopping.
Korean fried chicken.
But something that was very interesting that we want to highlight was a creamy rice wine shake.
It was so good. It was
so
like a rice
delicious.
wine
Slushy.
ice cream float. Yeah, it was so delicious.
Oh, I got a little tipsy off that thing.
Yeah.
I can't lie. Now we want to talk about our absolute favorite meal that we had in our entire time in Seoul, and that is Mongtan.
So good.
This is the best Korean barbecue you will get in the city from our experience. They specialize in this straw fire technique. It was so good that we were just like, I didn't know meat could have this flavor.
It was insane. We kept dreaming about the next time we would go back there.
Yeah, and that brings me to the point that I want to talk about, which is it's very hard to actually get to eat here. You have to go before they even open.
Yeah, an hour before they open.
And wait in line so that you can make your reservation on site. They don't do like phone call or online reservation. You have to do it on site. So you go, wait in line, get your reservation time, and then come back later for it. So This is kind of like a half-day activity.
You have to be committed to get your reservation.
Yes,
but it's so worth it.
So worth it. Make it a one-time thing at least. You have to make a stop here. So another thing that Seoul is well known for is having some really cool bars. And we are not much of drinkers, but anytime we did go out for a drink or to just experience the nightlife of Seoul, we were very impressed by how cool and good all of the bars were. That's why we had to dedicate a section of this guide to the top 3 bars that we would say you should definitely see while you're in Seoul. Starting with one that is right there in Seocheon, Bar Cham.
This is actually a top 50 bar in Asia.
Yes, the drinks were so creative. Just unique. I felt like I couldn't have any of the drinks that we had that night in another bar.
No,
it was
for sure.
Just that place that I could have had what we had.
Very creative, and it was also very delicious. The next one we want to recommend is All That Jazz, and as you can tell by the name of the bar, it is a jazz bar. It's so incredible. The drinks were great, but you come here for the jazz music.
Yes.
So much fun, such a good time.
I didn't think that Seoul was going to have such a cool jazz scene.
Yeah.
But it really does, apparently, because all of the musicians were so talented. It was such a fun night, and definitely something that you should check out while you're in Seoul. The next one we want to talk about is another top 50 bar in Asia, and it's called Zest Bar. This was definitely our favorite bar of all the ones we tried in Seoul. First of all, the inside is beautiful.
So beautiful.
And just warm and inviting. The people that worked there were so kind and so detail-oriented. When they were serving us, they asked us like, what are you in the mood for? What kind of alcohol do you typically like? Are you looking for something light or this or that? And they ran through the entire menu and said, this is what I think you would like. Every time they recommended something, we loved it.
It was so good. Everything was amazing. I had like a honey cocktail, and it was so good.
Everything was perfect. We love this bar. So that is going to do it for this guide. We really hope that you found it to be useful. If it was useful at all, we would really appreciate it if you left us a like and comment.
Yes.
And for those of you watching who may think that we missed something or you want to leave a suggestion for someone else, please do that. We really encourage it. We want to see all of your tips and suggestions as well in the comment section. And with that being said, we love and appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you next week.